Hey, welcome back here to another episode of the Central PA Pour. And as you can see, we're sitting in our recording room. And gentlemen, it has been 1 year since we've been at this. Can you believe that shit?
Already. 1 year.
Yep.
Dave.
It's pretty good.
1 year.
1 year. Seems like 20, but you know,
We're going to say you age like it's been 20.
Yeah, well, I got here. You keep it up. You may not make it to my age, you know. Just keep it up.
It's true.
But we have some special guests here, and before we bring them on, Kevin, where can they find us?
Basically on all social medias at Central PA Pour, centralpapor@gmail.com.
Yeah, don't forget about our YouTube and Mr. Ben, the Mix of Sick Live on Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock. So make sure you check into that.
Mix of what?
Mix of six.
Mix of six.
Mix of six. Our live episodes on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. So make sure you tune in onto that. So without further ado, we have some special guests here. And I know I've been emailing him off and on with some delay between responses from him and me. But we're glad that they're sitting here in front of us, and we will let them introduce themselves. So, gentlemen, welcome to the Central PA Pour.
All right, I'll jump in. I'm Ben, and then this is...
I'm Josh.
Ben and Josh.
BeerThrillers. We're a blog, basically, just like you guys, right out of Central PA. And we've been doing this roughly 3.5 years.
Doesn't feel like 3.5.
No. Oh, no.
Thanks, COVID.
I think we've
Right.
aged just as much as Dave has in those 3.5 years.
I don't think that's a fair assumption.
Well,
Ben.
the first time I heard about Dave, he had black hair, and that was 2 years ago. And now it's all gray.
That's true.
And I had...
Look who he's had to deal with.
Right, exactly, yeah.
It's kind of like going into the White House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Less time. And he didn't get voted for, so.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like Ford.
So the BeerThrillers, where can they find you, gentlemen?
Basically, we're on the social medias just like you guys. The BeerThrillers for like Facebook, Instagram, that, and then our website is thebeerthrillers.com.
All right. So
Very nice.
welcome to the Central PA Pour. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
Kind of tell us, you guys are bloggers. What got you down this road that you wanted to start writing a blog?
I'll start with that. It was May of 2019, and I was like, I'm kind of bored of everything. I'm going through a separation and divorce, and I was like, well, I got to find time to figure something out. Otherwise, I'm just sitting here drinking by myself in the dark, and I heard from my therapist that's a sign of something.
Oh, yeah.
So if I at least write about it, it'll, my parents won't be as upset with me.
It slows down your drinking for sure.
Well, because I have to hunt and pack. But I mean, 20 monkeys left alone in the room can do Shakespeare, so at least I can do a beer review here and there.
Good comparison. I like that.
Speaking of learned men.
Yeah. And then I think it was, how long's it been? About sometime late 2019, I asked you to kind of help out.
Yeah.
And do some writing.
Yeah,
and
we were
stuff.
at Boneshire, and you got a hold of me and was like, hey, do you want to write about the beer you drink?
It's like, I'm like, I can't just drink by myself and write.
Yeah, so I wrote, and we still drink by ourselves.
Except we sit in rooms next to each other, in the dark, and drink and write. It's a lot. It's a lot better.
So wait. You sit in the room, you drink,
Mhm.
it's dark.
Oh, this has to be. Yeah.
So
Wait,
how the hell do you write when it's dark?
Well, computer screen does have its own.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm getting it. All right, I'm getting it.
I'm just hitting random buttons anyway. I don't even know what it says. I don't reread my stuff, so it works.
Spell check.
Yeah, right?
right.
Yeah. It's
And when that
autocorrect.
fails,
Yeah, I'm going to say,
For me, it
auto
does.
fill in, that can be messed up too.
Anytime I try and put your last name in, it tries to auto 5 million different.
listen, I've been dealing with this name for 36 years. You don't think I don't want to change it?
Where, and where? Which is it?
So you guys both kind of started this venture together?
Well, I started, I got the, site up, and I realized quickly, it's kind of boring doing this by myself. I tried to enlist a couple of my, high school buddies and stuff that I still hang out with and everything. And they're like, no, we don't write. We just drink.
We just drink.
Right. I'm like, all right, cool. I need someone who can, look like he's smart and writes and maybe drinks.
Oh, so that's why you offered. I look like I'm smart.
I didn't say you were smart.
See, I
right.
kind of thought it the last choice.
Well, then I got you full.
I I literally ran out of 45 options.
And he was at the end of that
46.
option
Right.
list.
It was 46 is where I was finally, able
That's
to
where I
hit.
put myself anyway.
That was the oh shit call. Hey, hey, Josh, I need somebody to help me here.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it was I don't know at what level, but I think we were like a couple beers in with our mugs at because Bone Show you get like the extra bigger mug and everything. Probably drinking like the Dark of the Forest or Lazarus or something.
We're sitting on 20s. Everybody else is sitting on 16s.
And we were on
Yeah.
like 19 or 22 of the night. And I was like, hey.
Wait,
Yeah.
hold up. 19 or 20 that night.
Ben
Oh.
tells tall tales.
That's a brewery in Maryland.
You'd have been carrying me out, man.
It's a wonder they didn't.
I mean,
Yeah, go ahead, Kevin. Say it. I'm a lightweight.
At least you're honest, maybe.
Yeah, I am. But go ahead. I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt
no,
you.
and
That caught my ear. I'm like, 19 or 20? Holy shit.
I mean, we had done a brew fest or two together. I think. I don't know if we did the kegs and eggs at that
Okay,
point
yeah.
or
If we're
not.
doing Brewfest,
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was like, you have similar tastes and interests as I do as far as like beer styles and stuff goes. And I know you know enough about like actual. It's not
whatever
Oh.
you're supposed to be.
right. Like, it's not like, oh, beer good, beer bad. Like, like it
No,
might.
the beer's crap. I'm going to tell you how it's bad.
Right. So,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
so I figured, might as well throw him in here. And he was willing to do it. So worked out.
And 3 years later, still doing it.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's an interesting, like, for blogging, it's not quite the same. Like, you don't have as much interaction like you guys with the podcast
Well,
or the
the
YouTube.
recorded episodes, we don't get a lot of one-on-one interactions.
Well, I mean, you're at least, like hanging out like with knuckleheads like Josh, so.
I'm not a Harley Davidson.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh.
This is going to be a fun night. Dude, I will tell you right now, we're not drinking 19 or 20. I got to work tomorrow.
Samesies.
I'm still in protection. I'm good.
Oh, geez. So, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Kind of tell us a little bit about that.
So back in, I guess, March, technically, I knocked up my girlfriend. So
Do you want to say it like that? Should I re-edit that out?
actually, she probably won't. This would be great when she's like 35 and gets to look back on like internet archive. No. So
This woman with some respect, please.
We had a romantic encounter.
this is it was at the Sentinel in
Our eyes met.
across a dusty bar. Yeah. So Scarlett was born on Veterans Day. And
Nice.
yeah.
She was technically supposed to be the 22nd, but we ended up having her on the 11th. So she's 37 days today.
Oh,
So,
congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, she's doing well and everything. So
That's a big step. I
Yeah.
mean, you have, and I think you have other children
yeah.
as
So
well.
this is actually daughter number 4.
daughters. All
Yeah.
daughters.
All
All
daughters.
daughters, yeah.
Wow.
So I have
Wow.
a 15, a 13, a soon-to-be 10-year-old, and now brand new baby.
So you've already experienced it all, so you're a pro at this. So
Yeah.
kudos.
For my girlfriend, this is her first, so it's kind of interesting on that end of things. So
The only thing he pulls out of is the driveway.
Oh.
I'll edit that out. So congratulations.
well, thank you. Yeah.
Josh, what about you? Wife, kids, girlfriends?
I'm the polar opposite of this man. I have nobody. It's just me and my hands.
Owner
Get
operator.
that out.
And they would like you to pull out of the driveway instead.
Jesus.
You guys are making my fucking life difficult. I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing.
Hell no.
We haven't
No,
dropped
that's what makes it good.
we haven't dropped an F-bomb yet. At
I
least,
just
so-
did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
No, so you like to drink in the dark by yourself?
According to him, I do.
Okay.
No,
says you do.
So you have a
Interesting.
full-time job other than
I do.
this.
I work
Okay.
for the state.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's actually with just in last year. A buddy of mine is where I used to work, customer service. When the boss hates you, even though you show up for work every day and don't take vacations like everybody, and they still hate you,
Oh yeah.
yeah, time to get a new job.
So that your story is similar to what ours is and how we ventured into this atmosphere. We like to get together and drink craft beer together. We kind of, why don't we turn this into a podcast?
Yeah.
You guys turned it into a writing blog. And I've
Yeah.
seen your guys, you travel a lot.
Yeah. So luckily, like one thing, like once got with my current girlfriend and everything, she loves driving, doesn't mind driving, and I love drinking. So this works perfectly. So I can do the drinking, she can do the driving, and we'll go like just recently, like this past week, we went down Virginia and went to a couple. Let's see. Chubby Squirrel, Rocket Frog, Lost Rhino, and Old Eye. And we've been over like just about everywhere in the state. Now we haven't hit every brewery, but we've been like to the four corners just about the state. I don't think there's any new ones I have left to hit yet in Central PA.
That's you guys, and I've seen you guys like travel to Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland.
Yeah.
You go all over.
Try to, yeah.
Now, does she enjoy this too? Because I think I saw she writes some blogs as well.
Yes, yeah. Amy's written a few now. She's not gotten a huge chance for the last 9 months, but
She's been kind of a little busy.
right. Yeah, they kind of frown on it to be doing the drinking
Yeah.
when the baby making is
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
They like you to do the drinking before the baby making.
It's kind of what led to this.
Oh,
I wanna
it's
hear.
100% what led to it. Yeah.
But I think that's pretty cool. So speaking of beer,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think we're ready for our first tasting. So, Mr. Kevin, I think you got beer number 1 for us.
We got a hell yes.
Hell yeah. Give me a hell yeah.
It's a light bodied German Helles lager. Soft, malty, sweetness, accented by a German hops. And Untapped is ABV is 5.2. IBU is not on here. Check-ins is 4,304. The average is a 3.64.
And,
It's from Evergreen.
we're going
Brewery.
to say, who's it from? Evergreen. All
Get to
right.
that later.
Cheers.
Lost.
Evergreen, hell,
Hell
yes. I got a little bit of malt sweetness out of that. It's light, crisp. And it does finish. It's that
Yeah.
sweetness is just like lingering in there.
It is light.
I'm going to agree with the average of 3.6, maybe 3.75.
So
Honest-
you
Yeah.
want to give it an even number? You don't want to go like a 3.625.6? No.
3.824.
Prefer a 369.
8675309.
6.9. I like the 6.9.
Calling Jenny. So, Mr. Advanced Palate over there, Josh, what are you feeling out of that
You
one?
guys are vaulting way too up. But yeah, there is a crispness to it. When I nosed it, you can definitely tell that this is a never from the start.
Yep.
Myself, I gave it a 4, only because when you're looking at a Helles lager, where this is, it is supposed to be light. It is supposed to be malt backbone
Right.
to it. So it will be, and this is honestly brewed to style.
Yep. And you see a lot of people coming out with the Hell's Lagers. Because they're easy drinking beers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's a lighter beer. I could see drinking this a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, as cold as this is, which is where it's supposed to be drank, it'll go down like absolutely nothing.
And for a lot of breweries, it's always a good thing to keep like one, like, I don't want to say like a Coors Light beer, but like
Session beer?
like a
lighter style, more
right,
crisp.
something like, so like if I take my dad to the brewery, he has a beer like, because he remembers when he was a kid, he was drinking Coors and Miller Lights and
Right,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
Yep.
So you bring the guy in who's not a craft beer guy, like you have your company party at the local brewery. There's still something for like,
For everybody.
right, like the mass
Yep.
consumer type. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a smart, it's like how like seltzers have taken over so much of the craft brewing market nowadays. Like it's just like there's a market for it.
There
So
is a
it's-
market, and we've discussed this plenty of times. And even though there's only X amount of styles as far as beer goes.
Yeah.
The craft industry's taking it to another level. Only in America. I don't think they're. Kevin, you've been overseas quite a few times. You don't see like the differences of the styles. Are like
No, you don't. You don't. It's made to their standard. Everybody's is made to their standard.
Rheingeist and all that.
Yeah.
For like,
So
It's good, but that's what they do.
If you're in Belgium and Germany, you're not getting a sour pastry.
Right.
Nah, you're not getting
No.
not getting a thick smoothie. And,
yeah.
You're getting a kosher to put on top when you're done.
But no, it's not bad. I mean, I could drink that. It's almost, to me, it reminds me of almost like a Pilsner. A little bit lighter, maltier backbone. But the Helles Lager, it's lagered yeast, and that's what's going to make it the lager.
Well, and I'm going to touch on like German style. Hell auf Deutsch in German is light. So you're literally drinking a light lager.
Right.
Whereas, yes, a light lager is technically separate style of beer, and then Helles Lager. Technically, they're the same.
We got a Vienna lager, which I think, I'm not sure the whole thing about the Vienna, but there's a little bit of subtle difference between the Helles and Vienna. But I like all lagers. I'm more into I'm actually more into ales anymore. Give me a good ale, brown ale, red ale.
There's also something like when you go out to like say like a baseball game or something. There's something like you can't sit up there in the stands drinking like even an IPA. It feels wrong to sit there at like a Phillies game, you know.
And you don't want to be drinking 10.5% stouts and barrel aged stuff either.
Yeah.
You'd be plastered to the seat.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why, like, I mean, even like a Coors at like a Phillies Senators game, whatever, is not horrible. Like, even like just a nice, easy beer when you're sitting in the sun, probably because I'm way too cheap to buy good seats. I'll spend that $10 extra on the beer.
So you get one beer.
Yes,
for
a
buying a
beer.
cheap seat.
Yeah. I've gotten this past summer. We got to go to 4 games. Because we went up to New York to do Mets Phillies game. We were out in Cleveland, so we went to Guardians, Houston, Astros, and went to Pittsburgh and Toronto game, and then like a Harrisburg Senators game.
Oh, that's awesome.
And like there's like at each place, you know, they have like a local. It is nice that like a lot of ballparks now, like in Pittsburgh, there's like a full like Cinderlands had like a spot, like Dancing Gnome. Was,
Oh, so they're bringing in the local venues as well instead of the mass.
They're learning.
The box.
now
That's
it's,
good.
I mean, like I think this. Cause I got like a Cinderlands Little Squish, which is like a sessionable IPA at the Pirates game. And that was probably like $14. I wonder if I.
Well, you're going to pay
correctly.
more,
Right. Now, like I also got like a tall boy, like 20-ounce Yingling can, and it was pretty much the same price too.
Yeah.
So I mean, but you know, I'll drop the extra for like the local.
I will too. Yep.
Yeah,
I will not buy the big mass produced companies anymore unless it's all they got.
Right. Yeah.
But if I'm like, I don't care if I go to like a major chain, if they got a local craft on there, I'm gonna drink it. I don't care what it is.
Right.
It might taste like shit, but I'm gonna drink it.
And I'm going to find out for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So
right.
Luckily, like where we are, like in the Harrisburg area and stuff, there's probably a Trogs on at any restaurant you go to. At this
pretty
point.
much. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Drogs and then
Drugs and Evergreen.
New Trail, Evergreen.
New Trail, yeah.
Um,
New Trail has a good enough distro point as far as kegs go that this is.
Yep. And then it's just they keep popping up. I mean, I think it's close to 500 now in PA. Craft houses.
Yeah.
I know there are a couple closing. You wrote about one, and we mentioned it on one of our live Ben mentioned it on the live episode about Liquid Noise closing up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So where are you stemming all your info from? Where do you get it?
Well, so like Liquid Noise, I knew the one assistant brewer who actually told me about 5 hours before they put it on their Facebook. Some of the stuff that was just like as soon as they post it on their social media, then I'll like mention it and stuff.
Right.
Like I know like Bird's Nest in Carlisle is closing up.
Oh, are they?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ah, that's a shame.
There's this like a weird like where like everyone's been talking about like the craft market like or craft beer market like bubble, but like I feel like there's like for every one that closes, 2 open.
Yep.
Then like next year that one that opened is closing, but the other one's doing really well.
Right.
It's I mean, as much as people want to talk about markets and bubbles and stuff, it really I think it's coming down to like people don't think about it, but like craft beer is like it's about like any other industry where like you're gonna have a lot of people trying to open up a store and then it closes. Or it does really well and then it stays open.
Well, what we found out is they got to have a mix of food,
Mhm.
entertainment. You know,
Yeah.
you have to have a little bit of everything to get people in there.
Is it unique?
Exactly correct.
Because see the sticker behind your head, Kevin. Love Drafts.
Yeah.
They have a place in Harrisburg off 2nd Street. They've
they-
been there for many, many years.
And they just opened one in York.
right. But they opened a place in Mechanicsburg, and when I walked into the Mechanicsburg place for the first time, the gentleman said to me, "He was like, we're more focused on the barbecue end of things instead of like when you go into Harrisburg,
Right.
where it's essentially just I don't want to say just a bar, but comparatively between the two, have a place that isn't a brewery and is all about like the nerd goth end thing,
Right.
and then you go to Mechanicsburg, and it's brewery, a barbecue joint, and then everything else that the Harrisburg store is, just on a larger format, because they took over the Quaker State.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I didn't know that. I up that way to see them.
It's like in this area, I would try and open a brewery in this area. You got a lot of company. That's a big thing too. Like
Mhm.
Pennsylvania's a wide state, and in some ways, because like we were kind of talking about this on the drive over here, in some ways it's kind of nice to be near other breweries and kind of like you get
Work
people-
together,
Right.
collab.
Yep.
York
Yep.
is one of those places.
Yep.
Get people who right this can make this stop. My brewery in one day. But then in some ways, that's also a slight detriment. Like your regulars might not be full regulars because they have 4 other places
Right.
they can go. Like when you see like the outskirts, like Lewisberry, like in the like boonies type places, there's one brewery, like everyone knows everyone, and that also I think a lot of it then really depends on like the brewer owner, like what they want. I think a lot of times some of these businesses, like some of these breweries open up thinking, oh, we're going to be Trogs and just keep growing.
Right.
Yeah, you can't compare yourself to the big boy in the block.
Right.
No.
Mm-mm.
And like you said, Josh, you got to come up with your own niche. Shy Bear is a good example of that. That is out in the middle of nowhere.
And it's a phenomenal
It is a
brewery.
destination.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's a cool outdoor
Yep.
venue. Music, they got their own stage.
Mhm.
The
Food
food
is
was
phenomenal.
really good.
Yeah.
Yep.
The beer is phenomenal.
And
Yep.
you walk in, and the atmosphere is really great because they have that bar that is all one piece.
Yeah, it's a great, and that's kind of where you're going with this. Is a place like that, you got to create your niche to be able to bring those customers to you
Yeah.
time and time,
Time
again.
again. Yep.
And speaking of up there, I mean, you have Axman.
Huntsman
who,
was
They were one of the gals that used to work there. She was a Twitch streamer, and as soon as I found out, like, worked there, been there before. Let me come back up. She was like, "Yeah, we were pretty much pandemic ready from the start because that place has an enormous footprint. Because
like
it was
former warehouse.
it was
along, like, the
it was a mill.
canal.
It was a mill. It was like a steel mill or something. And like you look at the site, and it stretches on for freaking ever.
Yeah.
But they were set up, and their beer is honestly really great. And then just about 5 minutes away, there's Robin Hood, which if you walk into there and you're
It's
not
an Old Perkins. It has to be.
that's I was
It
going to
has to
say
be an Old
you
Perkins or
walk
Bob
in there
Evans or something.
and it is honestly a hometown restaurant feel. There's no way that this can be a brewery. And you look at all of the breweries, different beers that have all the art all around the dining room.
So not like walking into South County where you walk into that phenomenal atmosphere
The
where
new
you
Yeah.
see the whole
Yeah.
brewery right
well,
there.
and see, South County recently moved. So
new-
yeah,
yeah,
their
the
their
new
new one will show you everything.
yeah,
Yeah. There
The
are
old
breweries.
Fawn Grove one.
It's just
was
it's
next
just
to, like,
it's
uh,
small.
Yeah. There are breweries that it works for them, that you walk in and you immediately see a mash tun and you see everything. And there are breweries that, for Shy Bear, let's say, that you walk in and it feels like a log cabin.
Yeah.
Yep. Good. Yeah, I like that.
And I was up at Bald Birds up there near Williamsport.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's an old furniture factory. And you walk downstairs. Now, they don't have food. They have somebody else doing the food.
Mhm.
It's a family sausage company.
Evergreen used to do that for years until they got set up to the point where
They could
this
do their
is us.
own, right?
Yep.
And then upstairs, they got a whole wedding venue. So they're creating a niche there. Hey, we got good beer, we can food, we can give you a wedding venue or an event venue. So Windridge does that. They got that whole. That's a gorgeous place. We enjoyed our time down at Windridge.
I think that's another big thing too, like getting to travel and getting to go to like all the different breweries we've gotten to go to. It's very interesting, like, because being like my girlfriend Amy, as soon as we pull up, we do these like little games, like we even talk it out loud, like before we go in. What kind of a place do you think this is going to be?
Right.
Like, all right, this is like a strip mall brewery. It looks like it's, take your pick kind of a place. And it's neat. Like, I do love seeing some breweries that like repurposed old buildings.
Yep.
So like, Oakbrook in Reading was an old fire station. The Church Brew Works out in Pittsburgh was an old church, obviously. There's a couple old like churches that have been like there's one in Baltimore called Ministry of Brewing, which is kind of like they even used it for their name, and so it's kind of neat seeing like where were we at? I think it was called Cult Classic down in Maryland area. It was an old like Wises,
Yeah.
and like you could pull like you pour in the park and you're like, all right, that's a giant Wises. Like this was, and you can just see like you can almost see what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like us guys. We went to this old supermarket down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's nice like when they're able to repurpose it, like sometimes still use that for their branding, for their imagery and
Well,
idea.
you wrote about Poor Man's moving. They're moving to a new
yeah.
They needed a new location.
Yes,
that was. I mean, they make good beer, and it is
and
a
they're
small joint.
stuck next to like Dairy Queen.
What their
or
kitchen was
whatever it
just about a
Rita's.
quarter of that
Yeah,
corner with the little
Yeah.
cooker. But yeah, so you had wrote that they were moving and they're repurposing a building.
Yeah, they're taking, I think, a hardware store. I could be mixing things up, but like the Rubber Soul in Hummelstown took the old police bureau building and made that into their brewery. And now, like, if you look at it and you're like an old Hummelstown, like my dad, he's like, when I was a kid, survived twice.
Dave, he's right up your alley.
Thank God George doesn't watch this. George doesn't know what the internet is. I'm safe.
Oh. Somebody might tell him.
Oh
though.
no!
I mean,
I have a very good feeling that Amy is now going to be like, "Hey, guess what, George?"
Yeah, now he knows.
Yeah,
Now-
now George now realizes how big of a mistake 37 years ago was. But
And I can edit that out if you want.
Let him suffer.
Let him suffer.
but like if you look at the building from the outside, it doesn't really look like it used to do, but like it still kind of has brick footprint and stuff. And I kind of wish they would have leaned a little bit more on Hummelstown lore of like keeping it looking like, hey, here's like a police station. But I mean, it's not a huge issue breaker, but it is neat sometimes when you do see. There's been a couple times like an old building repurposed and imagery like, hey, this is I think where was it? Oh, JJ Radigan in Pottsville. I always mix it. I think it's Pottstown. They were like an old T-shirt factory or store or something like that. And they had like a loft area where it's like, this is where we used to sell or make the shirts. And they had like all this like signage and stuff. And that's always, I think, a neat aspect when they were able to do that stuff. Like if you have like a smaller footprint brewery, like and you don't want to outreach yourself. Like you can have like a strip mall brewery that's small but does well. You just have to know, don't overextend yourself. Like I think like that's always been like the biggest problem I think for breweries. They start canning too soon and trying to do distribution or sending kegs to like, you sent 10 kegs to 10 different bars and they didn't sell the keg out. So we had to buy it back and then we were buying our own beer back. That's now
skunked.
Yeah. You know, like, I think a good example was like Snitz Creek. Actually, they overextend themselves. They tried to open a second location near in the net, Myra.
Yep.
And not go well, didn't do well, and ended up basically bankrupt. So the restaurant Funk bought them.
Oh, no. Right. So back up here. So you're saying Funk's now owns Snitch Creek.
Not Funk's the brewery.
No, Funk's I know because I spent a lot of time there in the 80s and 90s with the military. It was always called Funk's.
Yeah.
And now
next
it's
to like
Snitch
the Indian
Creek.
Town Gap and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's always now it's Snitch Creek. So you're saying the Funk family owns Snitch Creek.
As far as my understanding goes, and so just in case, you know, people out in the interwebs aren't like lashing me with wet noodles. As far as my understanding goes, they bought Snitz Creek, the brewery. They got like the station out there by Indian Town Gap. They turned that into a brewery. Then they own like the restaurant in Palmyra, and the restaurant. I guess technically that's Campbelltown, called Rising Sun, and then they just bought the restaurant like right behind where the Sidewinder is. But
I thought it was the other way, so that's good to know.
No, because there's been a bunch of Funks, but the one Funk near Indian Town Gap was always the one without beer. Because I've been to that place twice.
now it's
I can tell you stories about going back to camp.
Yeah.
Back to post and stopping at that minute mark on wee hours of the night. Yeah, I can tell you stories. But we'll save that for another time.
So round 2.
I want to give a quick shout out to that Radar Brewing I was in Salem, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Small, just opened up. I don't know the exact date, but I was telling Brett I had probably a flight of each of their specials. And the cool part was they had a food truck outside. Their 5-year plan was, you know, they had an old building of manufacturing of something. You know, we're going to keep brewing here. We're going to have our food here. We're going to have this here. And in 3 years, we're going to be within North Carolina. In 5 years, we're going to be, you know, East Coast. And I told Brett, I said, I kept going with the flights until I knew I had to drive back, but not a bad beer at all.
Yeah. Now, do you think they're, like when they told you their plan and stuff, do you think it's sustainable? Like, do you think they will actually be able to hit their goals?
Tasting the beer, listening, the place was packed. I think they have a great chance. I don't know the surrounding area. I don't know how many places were close by.
Because sometimes, sadly enough, like you can go to a brewery and it can be amazing beer. Yeah. And that is not going to keep brewery afloat.
What I liked about it was a third of it, they were doing that bingo. Yeah. The other third was animal friendly. You know, a bunch of dogs. Actually, a cat was in there. And the other third was just us drinking beer.
Yeah.
So they had everything for everybody, you know.
That's, I mean, there's like that jack of all trades type, like you can do that. And then I think it's sometimes it's better to also be very narrowed niche type thing.
Yeah,
too.
I tell you one thing, talk about that. Like the one person that we had on here, Sandy Bialik, Fat Bat Brewing, you talk about somebody that was smart and how she went about starting her brewery. It was, her business plan was to a T. And there's a business plan for this, and if she's going to do anything, it's going into a business plan.
You have to.
Yeah. They don't do food, but the rest, they already had a plan with the person that was going to open a restaurant right next to them that had a door leading into it. Mm-hmm. They do the food.
I think
that's a smart business
for
plan.
A lot of breweries. Like if you're because most breweries are home brewer.
Yep.
Who got someone who's going to invest with them,
right?
Or they have the money themselves.
Silent partner.
Right. I think they might not have like the best expertise
Right.
So in a lot of those cases, that's why you see so many breweries have latched onto like the food truck stuff.
Yes.
And that's a great strategy where like
it's less money you got to spend out.
right.
Levante does it.
Yeah. I mean, that,
And if you
where I
have
was
the
at,
out-
Heavy Seas does it.
Yeah, and if you have like the outdoor parking area, like where you can literally have them always be there, and it's like a different one each week, then you have like variety for your guests.
And it's creating an atmosphere.
Right.
I mean, so no matter where we go, I was down in Maryland for training, and I need to go. So Open Gate was there. I've been to Open Gate already, but I saw Heavy Seas. I was from my hotel. Guess where I'm going? And they don't do food. They had a food truck, which was fine. I went there. I drank a few tasters, came home with over a case,
As you do.
and I stopped on the way back to hotels for Wendy's.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but they have a great atmosphere. They're under renovations, but I'll go to a place and I'm looking for the craft houses. That's where I want to go. Now, my wife, she'll go as long as they have food or
That's-
something on her palate that like it's not beer.
As like when I was
Speaking of beer.
Yeah, we're getting there. I don't want to interrupt. Ben was just going to say
Right.
something.
Sorry.
Where'd he go, man?
sorry to get in the way of your drinking, sir. You got a sidecar anyway. Anywho,
I loved how we turned that on to you.
I'm
And
not.
I can turn it right back. There's one thing
I-
I want to say to him.
I'm only
but
on number 9. All right, you drink your first one of the day.
it's a
there,
good thing you're
Captain.
not driving.
All right. But speaking of like how you were saying though about like when I was a single, like in between being divorced and Amy, like I'm not even putting food as a list of credential of stopping at a brewery. It's just like cool brewery looking, good food, good beer. I'll hit that place. Now with her, like she drinks, but she's not obviously she's gonna be doing the driving and everything. She's having like a sip of my flight.
Right.
So she wants like, all right, we're gonna stop and we're gonna have food because I don't want to deal with your.
Yeah.
Not to quote Amy too much in this podcast, but I mean,
Sounds like a good girl.
Is that what,
I mean,
so that's what she says.
She's
huh?
putting
That's-
with him, so
I-
you know.
I-
Yeah. Well, she has to now.
we get to like we hit the first brewery, hit the second, and she goes, all right, you got to drink up. You got to keep this moving. Got one more to stop, and you're not gonna be a stupid idiot. You're rambling. Shut the fuck up. Let's keep going.
Do you take notes in between so the blogs go all right? Or how does this go?
When I write, then I'll write like after like a day or
Yeah.
two.
That's what he's saying. I mean, how do you remember? I'll be like, oh shit,
Oh,
what did I
it's-
drink?
Luckily,
Even I'd be
just-
getting to wonder this.
Well, I just make up.
Well,
Luckily-
we're not credible anymore. See you guys.
All right.
She had a pretty bartender, so place was
It was-
bomb. It was good.
She leaned
The beer can't
forward
be
a lot.
that bad.
Despite the 16 concussions, I think I can remember pretty good.
That's pretty good. I mean, you guys are doing that. And
She'll keep me pretty on task. She'll like remember things pretty good now. Like it's nice. I have like a secretary, so that's how I even refer to her as my secretary. She loves it. This is
That
how you
goes
win
so
women,
well.
Josh.
So wait, you've been divorced once. You might be going that way again and keep calling her your secretary. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but see, this time it wouldn't be divorce.
Right.
Okay.
See, I learned. I got wise on
But
this
there's
one.
support going to be coming with that because there's
Yeah.
another child in.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't get wise on that part. I got wise on not marrying.
So speaking of beer, we have one here. This is from South County Brewing because we had mentioned them. This is our automatic fantastic key lime pie. Brewer's notes: bright, bold acidity and key lime flavor, bolstered with balanced notes of graham cracker crust, toasted marshmallow and custard. And it does contain lactose. ABV is only 5.5. There's no IBUs attached to this one. Not a lot of check-ins. 259 with an average of 382. So automatic fantastic. Cheers.
Cheers.
Automatic fantastic key lime pie. I do get the tartness of the lime out of it.
Nose is completely different of the body and everything else.
Yep.
You get peppermint. Yeah.
I do too as well.
I get the lime, but
The
as
lime.
far as a key lime pie, I'm not getting the other flavors that would be considered. I've had some key lime pie sours, and you get all those flavors.
No
All I'm
crust.
getting is that tartness of the lime.
I don't know if this makes sense, but it's a lightness but a thickness at the same time.
There's like a slick and a coating
Yeah.
Mhm.
to it.
Yeah.
One of the founders had Lizard of Cause or something like that,
Yes.
which was such a coating beer. I remember thinking like I have to like wrap the beer off my.
Oh, it sounds like some of the Foursquare stuff we've had.
This was a very like funky blueberry that just like could coat down your throat type thing.
No.
Like
To South County's credit, so you know that like cloying
That's the
dryness
term.
in your mouth that you get from key lime pie. I'm getting that from this
Oh, I get
beer.
Yes,
that.
yes.
That tartness dries your mouth out.
But
It says it has lactose, and I don't get any of that creaminess that
the
lactose
fact that I
would
can't
bring.
see through it makes me think that the lactose was used. But other than that,
there is a slight slickness.
the nose does not betray what is inside the beer. The lime is the only present flavor
that's it.
actively trying to say, "Hey, this is." The rest of it just sort of
Guys.
falls flat and isn't there.
Right.
So unfortunately, this is not going to be a high rated for. Speaking of, you can follow us on Untapped, all of us.
What did they rate it on Untappd?
3.82.
That's a 3.
That's where I think.
Yeah.
I think that's where I'm putting it.
3.5, 3.25.
And you know what? It's not hateful,
No.
and none of the beers are hateful. So people that go out there and they go in and try a beer and they turn it up and they don't even score it, or they score it really low, is pathetic.
Yeah.
Everybody's palate's different. And that's what we've tried to instill is like, hey, we might not like it, but somebody might love this beer.
Right. When you look at like Untappd, that's what Untappd is. We've talked about this, like me and Josh have, and I know I've talked about this with brewers and stuff. It's a ride, like you're getting a gamble on who's drinking it and how they're rated.
Yes.
I remember a long time, this is probably now 4, maybe even 5 years ago, when I was helping Tad Flag with the canning line. And I was talking to them, and the head brewer at the time, Dave Morrow, was telling me about why they were transitioning so much from like doing kegs and sending kegs out to bars, doing much more canning. And his comment was, firstly, if it's a bad economical, really, for a lot of breweries to do kegging.
Yeah.
Because if the bar doesn't sell out your beer, you have to buy it back, all that stuff. Secondly, he said, actually, for like Untappd, you're more likely to rate beer you bought and drank in a can higher than they would a beer at the bar.
Really?
And he broke it down, and they use whatever sabermetrics, like they got Billy Bean to like take a look at it. I don't know. But like when they broke it down by like people who rated the draft versus people who rated the same exact beer by can, the can ratings are usually higher. Like that.
I would have never thought that.
And some of that might be taste because of, a keg is still canned, but then you're dealing with like, maybe you sent that keg to say some podunk bar and they didn't clean their drought line.
And they might not have the proper ratio for the carbonation and all that stuff.
Right.
And you have to remember that people do drink with their eyes and experiences from
Can art.
Right.
Well,
and
yeah.
that was first like out of like raise your hand if you've not bought a single beer based on can art.
That'd be your son, Ben.
My son, he'll spend $400 on can art, and well, I'm sure he likes everything like me, but
Right.
$2 on his favorite because it doesn't have that fancy.
Well, like when we just were talking about like in the break a little bit and stuff, like take pop culture references in beer. Like if a beer is like a Seinfeld reference or a Simpsons reference, that beer is probably going to sell somewhat better, or at least like pop to you. Like when I'm looking at like if I go to like say a new state and I'm at a bar, not a brewery, which I'm usually at a brewery, but like if I'm at a bar or whatever, and they have like a list of like all these local beers, I've had none of them.
Light of all of them.
Right. And if I can only like get like a draft, like a pint of one, maybe something that has like a Seinfeld reference, because I'm a big Seinfeld fan, jumps out to me.
Right.
Like it's still a style I like, but there's 3 other styles that I like that are there.
Yep.
But
Marketing 101, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'll look for a style I haven't had it in a while. I will look for a cream ale. I'll look for a lager. I'll look for a steam beer. I'll look for something that is completely.
I like this idea. I like this.
Crap! I should change my style now.
Yeah, you probably ought to.
I'll look for something that I haven't. Now, if I can't find a style that I haven't had in a while, or they just don't make anymore, and this person is, and they don't have any can art to show me, I'll look by name. That name trips a trigger.
Oh,
I'll get it.
Oh boy, just spill on my table. But hey,
I got it under control.
It's the first party foul of the night.
Speaking of that,
I'm under control.
the class I took for I'm a shop owner, so I went down for ownership training, and it was all about marketing. So the quote was, "Make them high, they will buy." So basically, what you guys are going at is the references. They're arousing your stimulus.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm going to buy that. Whether I know what it is or not, I'm going to buy it.
Right.
Because now you've aroused my curiosity.
Yep.
And I'm going to try it. So that's the idea behind marketing. So that's probably what they're using. You had a post about National Bartenders Day.
Yeah.
And who did you have on your post?
Exactly.
Sam Malone.
Yep.
From Cheers.
Yeah. You just grabbed
favorite bartender.
the most iconic, like outside of him is Mo.
Did you ever go to that bar?
Come on now.
Did you ever go to that bar?
Coach.
Okay.
Oh,
Coach
no,
would have
no.
been the one I would have put on there.
Go
Even though
I
he
think
wasn't on there but a couple years.
When
but-
I think of the top two bartenders, like
Sam
in my
Malone's
head,
yeah.
Sam Malone, and then I'm thinking of like Mo Sislak. Like that's to me.
I cried when Cheers went off. I did.
It's-
I was devastated. I was like, oh, this is my last. And now Kirstie Alley just passed away.
Yes.
Can you believe that?
I was actually, very shocked just by her age. Actually, like I don't know if that's showing my
71.
age. Yeah.
And-
It's now people that I was watching like in my teens.
Tell me about it.
You know what I mean? Like
Oh, speaking of age, we brought this up in several episodes about actors. I just watched that one with Clint Eastwood, his latest one where he had to go to Mexico to get that
Yeah.
kid.
He's what, 91 or something? now?
Holy shit, does
Yeah.
he look old?
I mean, if
My
I'm 91,
God.
I'm not going to be doing no movies. I guarantee that much.
Life has ridden him hard, but let's give it to Clint.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
how?
he's awesome, man.
Yeah.
In our earlier episodes a year ago, we mentioned actors, and
Yeah.
Clint was one of those
Mhm.
actors. When he passes, Morgan Freeman's another one.
Oh,
Right.
Tom Hanks. When they pass, they're generational actors. You're
Jack
going to remember them.
Nicholson,
Yeah.
Like, there's just like that list, like,
Yeah.
it's an era ending type stuff.
But when I was watching that movie, it was just like, okay, it drew me in. Because it's Clint Eastwood.
Hmm.
And just watching how old he looked.
Was that
in
the one where we got into the drug dealing or whatever?
No,
No,
this
that
one he
was
had
a
to go to
different one.
Mexico to bring this guy's son home from
Yeah.
his mother.
Okay. Yep.
And it was a good movie. It was slow, but God, Clint.
Well,
they don't make them like that anymore,
Because
though.
I'm like,
No.
I'm thinking Outlaw Josie Wales, Clint Eastwood, and this is like 50 years past.
Yeah.
See,
Another
that's-
actor that I just seen recently was Kevin Costner. He's doing that Yellowstone, and
Yeah.
if you look at him, he's starting to show.
He
his
got
age.
that raspy voice going.
Yeah.
not just doing Yellowstone, but he's doing
Yeah.
like a Yellowstone TV show.
Yeah.
It's like they're getting mileage out of this man.
Yeah.
It's interesting, like in that same vein, like one of my new favorite sports facts was like I guess it was this week or when San Fran beat Brady, when the 49ers beat Brady. Brady's in his 23rd season.
Yeah, can you?
Brock Purdy, the quarterback for San Fran, is 22 years old.
Yep.
That man was like just gestating when Tom Brady started
Yeah.
his career,
Yeah.
Twinkle.
right? Like,
Ran down his leg.
you know what I mean? And I think like
Give another edit here.
I think like ESPN threw up the stat that like I always love sports stats where like the first time on a Tuesday with a full
Oh,
moon,
Right.
Yeah,
two men-
you're just the opposite of me. I think that I can't stand.
Oh,
I can't stand the stats that they get
Right.
into where you're like you said. The first Tuesday of the year
Yeah.
of sometime they're talking about some oddball stat that doesn't make any sense.
There's only one oddball stat I really love, and that is the Richie Ashburn stat that he was able to hit same woman twice with foul balls in the same at bat.
Oh,
So So
I missed that one.
this
I'm a
is-
baseball fan.
This is it's like my dad's
So
all
you're
time
saying you're
story.
into hitting women now?
Yes.
Very clear.
I mean,
No-
I
no
take my
hesitation.
stance.
So you're a Phillies fan.
Right. Yeah.
That explains everything that we have.
So
So-
I was rooting for them this year. I really was.
We needed all the.
However, the only reason I was glad to see Houston won was for Dusty Baker.
I'll
Other
give
than
it
that,
that.
I don't
Yeah.
care.
Right. I'll give
Dusty
it
deserved
for
that World
Yeah.
Series because he's a hell of a ball player. He's been in that
Yeah.
game for
He's
60
had
years,
something like that. Yeah, between player, coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
he's an all around good guy.
You never once heard a single person.
No.
Ever
Tell you what, your
saying-
Phillies are loading up. They just brought Trey Turner back.
Got Taijuan Walker now.
Yeah. Tell you what,
Yeah.
Kevin, I think your Mets might be in for a run this year.
They
Yeah,
will.
but it's
Well, you
Philly,
guys-
so when they load up, they still fail.
Hey.
Hey, I'm a Yankee fan, so I'm glad we got Judge back because if they wouldn't have re-signed Judge, I think I'd have found another team to root for and not
For
not
more
watch.
money than everybody in New York State
There's
is
always
making.
the Orioles.
I know the
I-
money sucks.
I mean, it's luckily it's not our money we're spending.
It is technically if
Well,
you're going
to the
game.
in that.
If you're a taxpayer and you go to the game, I mean,
Yeah.
Well, firstly, if we want to get into how our taxes are funding stadiums,
We'll
you know what I
keep
mean?
that for another
I think
podcast.
I like beer more than taxes.
But
That's-
yeah, baseball is cool. I love baseball. That is my sport. I don't watch football. These guys are football guys.
You'll have to ask Ben what our baseball plan is.
Your baseball. Oh, I know you want to go to. You want
We're
to
going to hit every stadium
Hit
in
the
Like
stadium.
the
bucket
next
list of
2
all-
years.
I,
Yeah.
I got a buddy that's doing that right now.
Is
Really?
he? That's pretty cool. I think what would be more significant if you hit every minor league stadium.
Oh, that's even more.
That's
I mean,
like three
well,
times more.
It's not even just that it's more. You're going to literally the corners of each state. Then you're not hitting big cities. You're
Right.
not hitting the fun spots.
No,
You're
no,
hitting,
and you want
you're hitting
you-
Harrisburg, Albany. You're hitting
Yeah.
Erie. You're
And-
hitting.
Yeah. I
Like-
want to go see Tim Robbins hit the bull because he can't pitch it.
Just go ahead
good.
and avoid Allentown.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
we
well,
got.
like
The
that's-
Iron Pigs are
Yeah,
just.
Lehigh Valley.
Oh
yeah, that's
man, they feed into the Phillies.
Reading. You got
Reading Phillies, yeah.
There's the farm system for these, especially if you do both AAA and AA. You're really, and if
Right,
you get
yeah.
into single A,
Yeah.
then you're basically at Hummelstown. Then
You're picking a state a year.
yeah.
Yeah, and even if you could cover it then. So what other sports you guys are into? I mean,
I was a big soccer player growing up with the Harrisburg Heat. I've actually talked about this a little bit on the blog. Growing up, I was actually good friends and huge supporter of Mark Pulisic.
I saw
Now-
you were posting a lot
Right. Now, everyone knows the name Pulisic.
because he's on the current team.
Right.
But is that the son?
It's the son. So
Okay.
I have a huge, I have a jersey of his dad, and it's a frame poster, and it's named,
that's-
to Ben and all this stuff.
That's pretty cool.
It's worth probably $10 on eBay. God
No, but
bless him.
it's not
It's-
it's not the value. It's
Right.
it's a personal memento.
Right, and it is. It's because it's really funny because I've gotten to meet Christian twice, and he obviously has zero remembrance of meeting me because the first time I met him, he was a 9-year-old kid because he was hanging out with his dad because his dad used to play for the Harrisburg Heat.
Okay.
So we had basically free reign of for games. My parents were both ushers. They got free tickets in and got free tickets for my sister. I was ball boy at almost every home game.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we had free reign. So I knew every player, where they grew up, all that stuff. And then here Mark's son becomes the future icon of
U.S. soccer.
right. And so every time I talk to people, oh, I know Pulisic. They're like, no, you don't. I'm well, I know his dad. And they're like, oh, congrats.
Yeah.
Do you watch any of the FIFA?
One of the best parts about having paternity leave since November 8th was I got to watch almost every single one of the World Cup games.
So I know we're recording this today. France was playing Argentina for the.
Yeah.
That happened. So the game
Today.
right? The game was today at 10. And
Anybody know?
I
Yeah.
think Argentina won.
Argentina
Yeah.
won
Oh, they
in
did?
penalty kicks.
In penalty kicks.
It
It was
was-
a 3-3 tie.
It was one of the most exciting games if you ignore a good 40-minute stretch of the game. So
To me, that's 90 minutes of soccer. I'm
Right.
sorry, I'm just not a big soccer
It's-
fan.
I'll
It's
tell you, it's
for a lot
tougher
of
than
people.
football.
It's-
It's tougher than football.
a lot of people have the I remember the sheriff for Dauphin County, his son played on my baseball team and also played on my soccer team. And he would just complain about every one of our games saying it's like watching paint dry. And I get it. Like when most of the games ended like 1-0, 0-0, 2-1, it's a low scoring game.
And it's like if anybody's not a baseball purist, baseball is like watching paint dry to
it
most
can be a
fans.
it's a very, especially older baseball too. Like they've really tried in recent years to really amp
You have
up.
to be a fan, just like me. I'm not a huge fan of soccer. I admire what it is because it's older than all the other sports, from what I understand.
The injury ratio, I mean, you'll see a guy falling over and all of a sudden, my leg, and then they do that slow motion replay and it's like, oh, God, it's kicked.
It is
mean,
interesting,
really.
like, because a lot of people will badmouth soccer in that sense of like, oh, these guys are flopping and falling.
Oh, hell no.
But if you're running for like 90 minutes and like suddenly get kicked in the leg,
Yeah, the cramp.
even like a small tap to your leg, which is probably like,
I'm not even making 10 minutes.
right?
I can do that.
I never really thought, like, I used to play soccer all the time, but like high school soccer is like 60 minutes, stuff like that. But like, you ever look at a picture of like a Tour de France bicyclist legs?
Yeah.
Those things after the race, their legs are like vein, like it looks like a leaf thing with the veins.
Yeah, you look
and
at their
stuff.
feet and they're pale, purple,
Yeah.
just
And
every vein
imagine-
in their body.
And now, obviously, a soccer player is not going quite to that length, but still, for like 90-some minutes of soccer, running the equivalent of like 5 soccer or football fields, and then you get kicked in the back of your calf.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I'm down, I was like,
Beer? I need a beer.
Right.
Speaking of which,
Oh, you ready for another one
We are.
already?
oh,
what a segue.
We got 2 left, right? Let's go.
Oh, yeah. All right. Whatever. We'll get into this one. So this is beer number 3. Real quick, so because Josh was thirsty all of a sudden.
all of a sudden he's just thirsty. I can understand that.
I mean, he took control. I like that.
Yeah, he did.
Just
Yeah,
like
we'll
home.
put him on the CPP.
Yeah.
So this one is by Desperate Times Brewery. It's called Turtle Stout 2022.
Must make this more than one.
Yeah.
Must be a rotating series.
Yes.
seasonal.
Oh, you cheated, man. You have to leave. You cheated.
Oh yeah.
I saw
I
that.
didn't- what? Who? What?
So no cheating here, but
Where'd you go, Josh?
good aroma. The brewer's notes on this is it's an imperial stout with chocolate and pecan notes similar to a turtle candy.
Yeah.
Now, I like turtle candy.
I can smell that.
I'm
And I
definitely
like
getting chocolate.
stouts. So, and I'm good on pecans. So I think I'm going to like this one. So
Now, do you say pecan or pecan?
I say correctly.
Oh,
Pecan.
We got a pecan in
I say I say it pecan.
It's fucking peeking.
Yeah,
No,
but
pecan.
that's okay.
Because just like me,
I-
peeking on your wives is peeking.
well, there's a nut involved anyway, right?
You're exactly right.
Nothing, honey. Anyway,
Hey, if I'm busy, we'll go ahead. Cheers.
so cheers.
Oh,
Cheers.
Okay.
Turtle Stout by Desperate Times. They will read the rest of the ABV and stuff.
Yes.
That is good. I like
If
that.
I could read it without being interrupted. So,
Go ahead, Dave.
are we reading the rest of this, or are we going to
No, read the rest
take a
of
break.
it.
Is it
No, we're going to go.
8.3 in alcohol, maybe.
Oh,
and,
okay. All right, you have
5
the
IBU.
on tap. Well, go right ahead there,
No,
sir.
I don't have
mean,
it. I'm guessing.
What did you say the ABV was? You guessed it. I want
I
to.
mean, 7.5.
No. Anyway, the on tap stats, their ABV is 8.3, and it does have a bitters rating. It's an IBU of 75, and although only 35 check-ins, we're going to give it 39 when we're done here. But they have average of 4.06.
This is at least a 4.25 for me because this
That's pretty good.
I get all the flavors they're talking about. The chocolatiness, the roastiness for the stout, and that little bit of nuttiness at the back end. It's like drinking a liquid turtle candy.
This is actual dessert.
Yes. This is a very good one.
We compare this beer. We shouldn't styles, but
Gonna.
I like as a 2-style beer. We look at it that way, Ben.
This is good.
Yeah, this is infinite.
Yep, I'm at least a 4.25 on this one.
I might even go to the next level. I might even go.
You going to a
higher.
5?
No, I don't give anybody a 5. But
6.38
Like a 4
out of 95.
4, yeah.
I tell you what, some of our highest ratings were some of the barrel aged stuff.
Yeah,
South
but-
County. I mean, we've had some that we've never given. I don't think I've given anything a 5. I don't think so.
You always have to have room. You got to leave
Yeah.
room.
5 is
you know,
basically generally
Like perfect.
I mean,
Right.
It's got to be that
5
one that
and-
makes me want to buy it. It's going to make me high. It's going to arouse me, and it's like, wow.
There's like it's like a saying that for anything, like any movie, any book.
Yeah.
Like I hate when people say to you, like, "What's your favorite movie or favorite book? What's the day of the week?" Like
I agree on that.
you know, like I have like a top 10 probably favorite movies or a top 10 favorite books or like Godfather's up there, you know,
I
like
Dave,
see you had
Dave.
Star Wars written down.
right. I'm a huge nerd. So like Star Wars and stuff, like theoretically, like I know Star Wars aren't the greatest movies, but like
No, they're generational. They keep
Right.
bringing not just you, but your kids,
yeah,
their kids. I'm a geek. I mean, I'm not going to say I know everything to know about Star Wars because
Right.
my kids had to fill me in. It's like, you need to watch the animated series if you want to catch the whole story. I'm like, what do you mean I got to watch the animated stuff? Well, truthfully, I started watching the Clone Wars because they're filling in gaps with the animated shit.
I have to like. I was saying to Amy the other day because now that we're up at like random times at night and like we're trying to find just stuff to put on TV, and we don't want to put on like a new movie because we know we're probably going to fall asleep with the baby or something. We're throwing on like the old Simpsons episodes or like Star Wars or like we pretty much ran through like all the 80s John Candy, like 90s John Candy movies.
Oh, there's an actor that lost his life way too soon. Oh,
Yeah.
But like, there's something like nowadays where we can just have like Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus. Where like, I can't imagine like it's so much easier like being like my daughters, like my older daughters, are like, oh, I want to watch whatever. Boom! I press 2 buttons on a remote and that movie's on. When I was a
Right.
kid,
Right.
What
I had
a
to
time to
find-
be alive.
3,
Right.
5, and 9
I had
when
to
I
f-
was a kid.
I had to find the
3
VHS
channels.
tape, which might have been in like some bin that my like stupid self threw in there like 5 weeks ago. I got to pull it out of that little like VHS sheath, put it in, and hope I rewound it.
Right.
Which, knowing me, I did not do because
that
4-year-old
was-
Ben was not rewinding Land Before Time.
that was always the fun thing. I mean, we used to go to the video store. Please rewind. And
Yeah.
you pick it up and it's not rewound. Did you fucking charge them for this? Because you're going to charge me if I
right?
didn't rewind
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
They
You know
wanna
what- you know what's
they
funny
wanna
is-
charge you for rewinding a tape.
We were with the family the other day, and my son's like, you know, Dad, I just thought of something. One of my worst memories is when you whipped my ass because you didn't.
Wait. He said ass.
He did.
Oh.
Oh, my son's good. He-
But his son's on is so his son and my oldest, they're the
Yeah.
same age. They're 29? Or no, Ben's 28. He's about
28,
10 months
yeah.
younger.
It was better when it didn't have context.
Yeah.
And then my middle son's
But
28,
it was
and then my
just-
youngest is 23.
It was just so funny because I remember in my mind, I remember all these other times that I whooped his ass for whatever. And he's like, at one time I went to the video store and I didn't return it and you got charged 50 cents for
Yeah.
because I didn't rewind it. And we went home and you just like, whap.
We got,
Really, Ben?
my generation, we got beat over 50 cents. We beat our kids nowadays over 50 cents, and I'm in jail.
yeah,
Suddenly,
no crap.
You know,
It's not
Well,
worth it
I mean,
anymore.
right?
I when I would grow up, allowances were like a quarter. That was like big. So, long story short, our grandson lost a tooth while we were camping. My wife's like, "Did you put money under his pillow?" I'm like, "Yeah, I put 50 cents." That ain't enough.
No.
She threw like a $5 bill, and the dad
Yeah.
threw like a $5. I'm like, so seriously, you're giving him $10.50 for a fucking tooth? Come on.
Yeah.
My sister has worked out.
$23.50, please.
My sister has worked out this philosophy and plan with my parents, where my nephew loses a tooth every time he has a sleepover at my parents' house.
Oh.
And she has worked it out that she lets my parents know that it's $5 from the tooth fairy,
Wow.
and that he's gotten it once. So My sister must have done it one time. He lost a tooth and gave him $5.
So he's already got this marked down. Hey, I'm missing 4 teeth. I only got paid for 1.
Right. So like every time he comes over to my parents, suddenly the kid's lost a tooth, and now like my parents, like grandma and grandpa, got to put a $5 under that. And I think my sister's just pocketing it.
Hell yeah.
And this is like she's probably knocking the teeth out herself. I think it's a racket at this point.
But carefully. You got to knock out 1 per.
Oh yeah, it's
stealing the dentures off an old lady.
just,
Oh yeah, there's $5. Oh, that's a molar. That's 15.
thank God my sister.
Yeah,
I just my entire family is not allowed to watch.
You
this
listen to
at this point.
podcasts.
yeah. This is. I mean, it's talking about like TV and stuff. I mean, we wanted to watch anything. It was 3 channels with the rabbit ears,
Oh yeah.
and it's like, go move the ears after you switch the channel. Hold, stop right there. You let go, and it goes fuzzy. Go grab. Oh, you got to stand there.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
I was
it's
waiting
funny.
for that.
Well, that's like
I don't understand that.
Dave,
Because
did you have-
I'm older than you are, and we had cable.
You were wealthy.
You had cable.
You were
Yeah.
wealthy.
They were smarter.
We
You
had
were
cable.
Smart. Yeah.
You might have been like Kevin said. You were rich, bitch.
We had this little,
we
like
weren't.
8-inch TV with a yellow.
Dave, you don't remember when they
Welcome
come
back.
I remember the
Welcome back,
antennas,
Connor.
but I do remember that we eventually had cable.
Well, so did we. I remember
You know.
cable. We used to go to the neighbor's house to watch it.
Yeah. Right.
The top banana burlesque. I was like, oh yeah, look at that.
I remember my father used to watch Benny Hill.
yeah. My dad was a big Benny
Oh,
Hill
yeah,
fan.
Benny
All right.
Hill.
And
Benny Hill.
Yakety sax. All right.
Yeah.
Go.
That's just like
That was
you
his
know,
favorite program. Like,
Benny Hill. I mean, the Dukes of Hazzard.
oh, geez.
Catherine.
We're
Bach.
getting way
Catherine
off.
Bach.
We're
I
getting
mean,
way
that was
off.
just porn to us kids. But speaking of, I mean, age. I mean, I see you guys like video games as well. New games, or you? Because you guys, I still have my original Atari and my original Nintendo.
It's got to be worth money.
I I don't know if they work. I mean, they did when I put them in the attic, but now they've been in the attic, so I don't think they're gonna work anymore.
Give you $5, buddy.
Right.
Probably gonna take a
So-
little sandpaper on them little tabs. But
So this is the one time I'll actually go before Ben. So I was born in '86, but growing up, I had grandparents and an aunt that had an. I grew up playing River Raiders, Pitfall,
okay,
Pitfall.
Barnstormers,
Yep.
oh
yep.
yeah,
Hubert,
yep.
and then every time I would shopping and we Oscovs, Super NES that you could try
Yes.
out
Yep.
the N60. I would try that. So I didn't have a gaming system until the N64.
That was my kids' first one.
Yep. And so the first like 3 games I get, 2 actually, Mario Kart 64 and Star Fox 64. I played the ever-loving mess out of those games. And thank God they were cartridges. Just blow them out because I
Yeah.
swear to God I would have played a disc till it had a hole in it.
The funny
And
thing,
get charged for not rewinding.
Yeah.
it.
Oh.
the funny thing is now you don't even buy them. You just
It's
you
downloaded.
don't buy the
Yeah.
physical thing. You download
now
it.
you can do Game Pass on Xbox.
I
You
f-
can,
You actually can still get the little joystick.
Yeah.
And it plugs into your computer.
Yeah.
And it has all the games on it.
Yep.
And the joystick. That's kind of
my
cool.
one friend does like a streaming service I jump on every so often, and we play. He calls himself like the Knights of Nostalgia, like old nostalgic games.
I saw that on your
And-
blog.
Yeah, and basically his cousin rigged up this like emulator thing. Every game from the NES, the Atari, Genesis, Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
the old systems. And then we just play those games and drink and basically just bullshit like this for like 5-6
Alone in the
hours.
dark.
Pretty much.
Oh.
yeah, see, he's the alone in the dark
Right.
guy.
I mean, it's, yeah, we're using a joystick all the same.
I didn't do that. We'll cut that out.
A joystick is used, let's just say.
I remember giving my kids the end. So when they got to that age where I could put like, let me get I got the Atari out first.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Hooked it up. Well, a joystick and that button to them was like they couldn't figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
So then
New ones.
I got the Nintendo out. They couldn't figure that out. Then I got the N64 for them. and they finally were getting a little older. They could figure it out. And I stuck with the N64, because it was geared more towards their generational, where I didn't want the shooter and all those mature games, where N64 was geared more towards the kids in that age. So that's what they grew up on. But now they're in. I remember Tanner, the youngest one, all of a sudden we were seeing hits on our credit card because he asked for our credit card.
Right.
And I'm like, what is this? Well, it was in the PlayStation. He had to put it in to sign up for something with PlayStation.
Microtransactions are the worst.
And it was just like, this, and to get it out was just god awful. I mean, that's pathetic. I'm like, what do you mean you need to sign up to play online? It's a fucking game. Put it in a video console and play it. Oh no, it's all online stuff. I'm like, this is crap. So I'm old. It's just new to me. I'm just like, never. Just like you said, Twitch. TikTok. I mean, I don't know any of this stuff. I don't do that kind of stuff.
I can barely Instagram. I can't do TikTok. Is way beyond me. That's a whole nother level. Like, I don't do dance.
You talk about the social media in this piece, and I'm about as far away from that as you can get. Not because I don't understand it or anything. It's because of the fact that I just don't think it's worth my. And it's just absolutely
you don't answer
abusive.
your cell phone.
No, I don't. I don't answer my cell phone. I don't even. He texted me earlier and then had to call me to tell me that he texted me.
I've gotten to the point now too where, like, outside of doing something for the site, like, I don't even touch social. It's enough of a hassle to try and do anything. Blog, let alone trying to do it in my own personal life. Like, I don't care about some kid I went to high school with. Like,
that's right.
He like thinks he's my buddy. I'm like, I had math 208 with you. I don't know. Dude, I fucking slept that math class. I don't even know. What was your, like?
It was a credit I had to take.
Right. Like, I mean, exactly. Like,
you watch out, he might be your next boss.
Oh,
100%.
Fuck him either way then.
10 years ago, I was way more in Facebook. And lately, I've been like, I have no desire to post my life.
Yeah.
I don't either.
I think COVID was a big part of that. Like, everyone during COVID jumped on Facebook. And I'm like, no, I'm actually not wanting to do that.
So that goes in phases, though.
And now it's gotten to the point where I've logged on to Facebook, and not only are there ads directly in the center of the screen in my feed, but you look to the right, and there's 2 more ads. And it's like, what, you don't have enough here? You have to start adding it here?
It's all about the money.
So I start reporting them and like, no, I don't want this crap. This is absolutely the worst thing that you can do. It was so much better when it was for college only.
Oh, yeah. But
you academics.
Yeah, speaking of marketing, we have to do a little business. So
we do.
You can find us on the Hopped Up Network, which is a network for beer podcasts. So we are listed on that. So you can get that. Not only there, Kevin, where can they find us?
Well, we are all over Central PA Pour on all social medias. Also at centralpapor@gmail.com.
And check our YouTube out.
Thank you.
And sometime, what's it? TikTok? You're going to do the TikTok videos?
I hope so.
I'm
watching
lazy.
that.
Yeah. We got a couple of good ones we
didn't
haven't
change
put on yet.
He didn't change the name of that yet to Elon Musk Talk.
That guy's pretty good now. Leave him alone.
I used to like him.
But anyways,
I'm getting to the
more like Elon mustn't talk.
Yeah, right. But on all link trees, you'll find us.
Yep, and in the audio podcast. And again, check Ben with our Mix of 6 live.
There
on
you go.
Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. And,
we'll be on there this week.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be backwards a little bit, but yeah.
So, check that out every Wednesday. And if you do want to subscribe and be a guest, there are guest forms on our link tree for both the live episodes and the recorded episodes that we're sitting here with Ben and Josh. So check that out. When we started this little venture, it's about a year ago, and some of our information, you had mentioned Breweries in PA, they put out a phenomenal amount of information on this craft industry for Pennsylvania. And what we started with was the Reader's Choice Awards. we kind of went through those categories. That was a lot of our first couple episodes that were just the four of us. And that's up and running again. I think that's going to be ending soon. I did see Evergreen had some information in there. Poor Man's was listed there.
Breweries and PA is big on Poor Man's.
Yep. Trogs is listed.
Yeah.
South County. Now, I just looked before we sat down here as far as the destination. South County wasn't even in the top 4 for voting right now. I couldn't believe that.
And that's a shame.
That is. It's a freaking phenomenal
because
building.
they've always been known, like even when they were at their original location, they were far enough out of the way that they're a destination.
Right.
I mean,
I think that they're looking at the buildings and what they're
Right.
doing. So
the biggest thing, like obviously, it's going to be a popularity.
it's exactly all this is. It's
And how are they not with their newest building? Like
Well,
it's gorgeous.
it
It looks like Englewood.
Yeah.
I think a large part of it is what people look for, and it's different people look. And it's also like if the breweries themselves push it, like if Breweries in PA says, "Hey, vote for us," or I mean, not breweries, they're the ones running it, but like if like South County says for their thing, "Hey, vote for," you're gonna get more people vote, like for them in particular. And so I think you get a large part of referential vote.
right.
Rather than like me and you who have a vested interest in just everything.
The overall aspect of the whole
Right.
ordeal
Like
is
you
the
have-
beer, the food, the atmosphere,
Like,
the
and you have your
everything.
favorite, you have your favorite, he has his favorite, and we just vote. I think the way the Breweries in PA one runs out, and it's going to be that way with any site, anything. If enough people push it, as in themselves, like if South County pushes it, or Rogues pushes it, or Poor Man's, you're getting all like because you have your regulars. Like Boneshire has their regulars.
Yep.
0 Day has their regulars. Rogues has their regulars. You get that like grouping to all vote. Whereas like if you're like, oh, I don't care about it, you're not getting your galvanized group to vote.
Right.
It's tough though. I mean, looking at it through our eyes, I mean, everybody we've had on for the last year, pros and cons. Everybody, and that goes on to what we feel or our tasting. Not that it's a good or a bad beer, but that's what we like.
Right. There's this level of, I think with things like say Breweries in PA then, and Yelp, Untapped,
Yep.
all of that kind of stuff that I think breweries need to be somewhat aware of. That they need to like, that does affect your overall outcome or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Like you get one, like if you only have like 6 Yelp reviews and you get one really bad Yelp review,
You're done.
You're
Not
5.
necessarily.
Well, but like you're 5.
It's Yelp. Yelp sucks and should never be trusted.
I'm using it as I'm just using it as a reference though. But like Untapped,
A bad reference, but it's still a reference.
Right.
And you don't hold anything back. Let us know how you really feel about it.
But like in general, like I think this ties back to when we were talking about like Untapped ratings and stuff, and like discussing like how for a while like Tad Flag was saying like canning ratings make their beer look better than like. There is times I know this talking to people from my work and just people who aren't like when you do look at like ratings for things like do I want to go here and spend my money there, you're looking at like the mass market people, not like us. We have a general knowledge of beer and stuff where we might just go to that place anyway because we've never been there.
Exactly.
Or we know their beer is good because we know their beer is good. If I'm just Joe Blow who's like, I got $20 to spend and I want to get a 6-pack, I want to do craft beer, I might jump on Untapped
or
whatever.
I get where you're going. Yeah.
And like this one's rated 3.9, this one's rated 3.4.
Yep.
They're both the same exact price value, same style, everything. I'm going to go for that 3.9.
And reviews are pretty good for all things. And
right. And I think there needs to be that level of accountability and stuff.
Yep.
But I feel sometimes it becomes a popularity contest, which it is. But like breweries need to be cognizant of that stuff.
Right.
Like you need to realize, hey, maybe I need to lean on social media.
Yeah.
Because I know like Breweries in PA does not touch a lot of breweries. There's and They can't to some
They
degree.
can. There's too many.
There's 500 breweries in the state.
Yep.
The
They do have
problem
multiple employees.
right. Well, and this is where like I have a few complaints with breweries in PA. And one of them is it's not that they don't try to spread love. They tend to spread love only to a few. And you're also doing it with a much bigger platform than a lot of other people do. And they lucked into, like, I mean, I shouldn't say lucked into, they picked their name for their blog and their site to start with back in 2015 or 2016.
Yep.
Right.
They picked the name Breweries in PA, which immediately set them up into like a bracket where like that's an easy searchable name. And it's a genius thing. Like
It is. They were
everything-
smart.
Everything they did is like your 101 marketing type stuff.
Yep.
Pick a great name. Pick a great system. You got a niche. Craft beer is a huge thing. They picked a small niche in that craft beer.
And
thing.
I don't think when we had talked to Chad and Matt, when this started their idea, I don't think they saw where this was going to
No.
blossom
Right. No.
into.
They're now a roadmap.
It
for
is.
Anybody
Yeah,
that
it
pays
is
attention
huge.
to.
Yeah.
Because I think in 2011 there was 84 or 88 breweries
Mhm.
in 2011. 11 years later, we're almost at 500. I don't
So-
think they saw it this big.
And that's not just then on them. That's just
That's
how
just-
the market went.
Yeah, it went everywhere.
I'm dead weight, so I'm going to give you a challenge.
Oh, shit.
So I truly love the challenge that Dave is doing, getting all these home brewers as well as, established brewers together. I think you ought to get all of these podcasts, all of these people that are spreading the words.
We'll do like a blogger
Yeah.
roundtable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a bad idea because we're
Get-
working on a
Get
brewers
everybody that
roundtable.
spreads their words.
That's a good idea. Get you guys back on. We'll do a blogger
Hey.
roundtable.
I mean,
You know,
like, so, like, I know you originally reached out to me, I believe. Like
Long time
a
ago.
long
I
time
know.
ago.
And
Jesus.
And I will apologize for that. I'm probably, like, you can ask my
Dude,
girlfriend. And
There's no
everything.
excuse. I mean, there's
I'm-
no problem because knowing what I know
It worked
now,
out well.
You
Well,
had a lot on your
Right,
plate.
but it's not even just, I'm a horrible procrastinator. Like, emails and stuff.
Me
Like,
too.
I will look at an email and be like, yeah, I should answer that. And then five weeks later, my girlfriend's like, so did you ever answer that email you got?
Kind of like Dave with his text.
Like-
and then
like-
I don't find out about it until
Right.
like
This
Last
a few
night.
weeks
No,
after
I'm-
that.
I
Last
messaged-
night.
I
Like
think I
Friday?
messaged- I think it was like two
A week
Tuesdays
ago, I
yeah.
found
We're
out.
going
about
for a ride.
Yeah. Hey, you gonna be at Bone Shower Sunday? Okay, me and Amy are picking you up and we're going to York.
I guess
Let's
the
go.
question is, your wife in the driveway waiting on you?
She's actually gonna be here at 6:30. So,
Oh,
but
is
Like-
she the designated driver for tonight?
oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just kind of curious.
You better hit that last beer.
Right.
Yeah, I was,
But
I was
you-
curious because of the fact you guys have been pounding them down here
Oh,
for the past.
this is a Tuesday afternoon
Yeah,
during conference.
So I see something there, pretzels.com. And I
you're
saw
right.
something
Yes.
on your blog.
There we
What
go.
was that
All
about?
right, so just recently they reached out to me and did like a little affiliate ship. You buy pretzels from pretzels.com and they have like 40 some different flavors. This one here is lager if you want to.
I was
So
going to say,
they're
are we,
beer
are
flavored?
we going to get to try
Some
any
are,
of these in here?
yeah, eat them up.
Oh, yeah.
They got some beer.
There you go.
That one's lager.
should we
There's-
pour them on the table like that?
Listen,
Well, you're going
this
to pour
is-
them. You're going to.
oh, this went horribly awry. I'm losing my affiliate ship already.
a rye.
Horribly awry. But so if you go to pretzels.com and just put in the BeerThrillers 20 and
Perfect,
you'll get
thank you.
20% off and you can pick whatever you want and it ships to your door, all that good stuff. And then Josh doesn't beat me with a wet noodle if you do it. If you don't buy them, you get beat with a wet noodle by Josh. So you have to.
They're pretty good.
That's pretty damn
It's yeah.
They're onto something.
They are.
It's a craft like pretzel. It's not like so. Like,
Pretzels.com. So we'll have that on this when we release this.
that'd
We'll
be
have
great,
the link
yeah.
right in the description. They're pretty good. That is. I'm not a huge pretzel guy. Now my wife loves pretzels.
pretzels and beers go pretty, especially like for stuff
Well,
like
yeah,
this.
because it dries your mouth out and makes
Yep.
you drink. That's the idea behind it.
No, and they're also like the perfect size.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
a big like hard pretzel or stick, so they're very good. The other thing I saw that was interesting back on your website, You had mentioned there's a loggers site that you were like listed in the top 100.
Yeah, I don't know.
How did that happen? What is that about?
I literally have no idea. I don't know. So FeedSpot or whatever does like a yearly, and then they update it top 100. And some point last year, I got listed at number 9, and then this year got moved up to number 7. I don't know if there's
in the country.
I guess it's the country. It might be because there's a few Canadian ones on it, so I think it's the world. I don't know. I don't know exactly how.
It looks like Josh had no fucking clue.
This
Canadian, eh?
You never read. You don't even read your own.
This is assumed that I don't read.
Have you read?
Yeah.
What have you read?
Really?
Name one thing you've read.
Jonathan Livingston Seagull.
Your last couple articles, only because I also get emails.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So, like, the brave assumption that I don't read.
I like to assume you don't until proven otherwise.
Like in front of people?
Yes.
Well, I tell you what, that is a pretty cool accomplishment. So kudos to you guys.
I don't know like what their algorithm is or how it works out, but yeah, it's so we're listed as number 7 on FeedSpot's top 100. There's like there's like 6 above us, and one of them's like a craft brewing magazine that's been around since like the 1970s.
Oh,
so like. I don't know how we got there, and we probably don't deserve to be there. And at any moment, they're going to probably realize it.
Damn. Yes, you do deserve to be there.
Right?
Yes, you do.
There's going to be like this moment where like the Bugs Bunny hook comes out and just like poses off stage or something.
Hey, at least you're on the list because I think if there was a podcast for craft beer, we're not even in. We're not even mentioned on that.
Check
pen.
We can change that.
Right? Yeah. I mean,
We're
check
on the
that
top 1 million list.
Right? Hey, a list is a list. I'm number 3 on my girlfriend's list, so I think it's all working out great here.
We need a drink.
It's kind of like what was that, Dumb and Dumber? You have a 1 in a million chance,
So you're
but
saying
I have a chance.
I have a chance.
I like where Kevin's going. Let's
What is this? What's the last one?
But we got one more
I'll
thing.
let Josh jump this.
We got one more
my
thing.
God.
I want to know. So tell us where they can find the Beer Thrillers again,
All right.
and
Yeah.
do you have how many subscribers? Do you know how many subscribers you have?
Currently, the last statistic thing I looked at said we have 2,300 something.
2,300.
Wow, that's nice.
I don't know if that fully adds in all of the social media stuff, but like some hard I love sitting there looking at this data, like the data and the statistics and all that, but like I don't understand it. I'm a friggin' monkey with a keyboard. So I kind of
You said you like Peckett.
right. I just AEIOU, and then the horsey sound happens when I pull the arm.
You've been spending way too many days at the casino.
Wow.
Yeah. But so the one data thing says like we're up to about relatively 50,000 views a month. I don't know if that counts like these data bot crawler things or if that's just how it is, or
And it's free to join it, right?
yeah, you can just go to the website. You can read whatever you want. There's like an email subscription thing that whenever we post something new, it'll
Because
pop
that's
on.
where I get it.
Yeah, and then there's like the Facebook, the Instagram.
Which
Josh
you're not
is-
good at.
Nope, Josh is going to start doing TikTok dances with his beer in the dark.
Nice.
whereas everyone.
Can we put that on our YouTube channel?
TikTok dances.
I didn't tell you about that part, did I?
Look at that
So-
stare.
So again, this is one of those instances where I find out very last minute.
Don't worry, I got.
Then I guess I should tell you that TikTok doesn't like my account.
I got
I'm
an
gonna have to make
electric
an.
prod.
Yeah, but Josh, it'll be
Dance,
in the
monkey,
dark, so they
dance.
won't be able to see any.
Oh, this.
Right, this
oh,
is- yeah.
So it could be him for all they know.
Yeah, good.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
TikTok doesn't like your account.
No.
Did
it
you
doesn't.
piss off at Elon Musk or something? I mean,
I think I
I'd rather piss on him. We'll edit that out.
All right.
Millions, you know.
Gentlemen, hey, I do appreciate it.
Thank
you guys
you,
have
guys.
been great.
Yeah.
We look forward to doing some more stuff. And if we do something like a blogger or something roundtable, we would love to have you guys back to do.
100%. Yeah.
Again, look for the BeerThrillers.com at BeerThrillers, the BeerThrillers.
Yep.
Check them out. They put out some great information. I don't know where they get it from, but they keep doing what you're doing, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
What is our cheers beer going to be?
So the last beer of the night from Boneshire Brewworks out in Harrisburg is Angels on the Sideline. She is a Belgian blonde sitting at 7.1%. 17 IBU.
All right.
That sounds real good.
Belgian blonde. So
Yep.
this
Sounds
is a good.
good.
One.
Sounds
So
good.
there are no details on it other than all they say is they're waiting.
They're waiting.
Mm.
And from what I know, Alan, the head brewer there, loves to make references to things.
Are you done yet?
So-
Because I'm waiting.
So
I thought I'd keep you waiting for
Get it.
just a little bit longer.
No, this
I
is
like
good.
him,
I
man.
like this.
It's
So-
an anticipation.
I appreciate you guys being on
Thank
here.
you, guys.
So if
This
you're
is
out
pretty
there,
fun.
Thank you.
you pick up a glass, whatever you have in it. Let's raise one with the BeerThrillers and the CPP crew.
Yep.
And
Yep.
let's all be bonded by beer. Cheers.
Cheers, brothers.